Marty! We have to go back!
Oh man, like going back to where?
Back to 1941! Great Scott!
Ah, this is heavy. We all know about the bombing of Pearl Harbor. It was one of the most devastating military attacks on American soil, where over 2,000 Navy men lost their lives. It would be a lot better if this tragedy never happened, right?
Wrong!
So what would happen if the Pearl Harbor attack never took place? Like, say, it was sabotaged by radar technology, or, more realistically, a time-traveling DeLorean. Well, let's go back a little. By the time World War II came around, most Americans wanted nothing to do with it. They were still thinking about the economic and emotional damage caused by the first one. There were some exceptions, however. FDR himself wanted the US to join the war, but couldn't get the populace on his side. He instead helped the Allied forces through the Lend-Lease Act, in which he could provide funding to countries that were crucial to the US's defense. But America as a whole remained separated from the war. Until Pearl Harbor, that is. On December 7th, 1941, the Hawaiian naval base of Pearl Harbor was attacked by hundreds of Japanese bombers. This shocked the nation. At this point, the American people felt they had no choice but to join the war, because now it was personal. The next morning, following the attack, America declared war on Japan, and the rest of the Axis powers just a few days later. Now, it's hard to say for sure, but given the circumstances, it's likely that if Pearl Harbor wasn't attacked, America would have never joined the war. So what then, huh? Well, America was one of the biggest players in the outcome of World War II, so its non-involvement would have been not too good. The Soviet Union had recently joined the war after being attacked by the Germans. They proved to be a very formidable force, but were still suffering heavy losses. Then America got involved and, well, they were still suffering heavy losses, but the Americans took out a lot of enemies in the western front of Europe and the Pacific through battles such as Midway, North Africa, and D-Day, just to name a few. America also developed the atomic bomb, which ultimately defeated the Japanese and ended the war. Now, does this mean that the Axis powers would have won if America hadn't joined? Well, it would be cocky to say yes for sure, but the odds would not have been in favor of the Allies. So there you have it. Without America's help, the entire world would be ruled by Nazis!
America!
Alright, fine. Let's say the Allies won without us. What then? Well, in 1945, as the war was coming to a close, the Allies gathered at the Yalta Conference to decide what to do with Germany. If America hadn't been in the war, and therefore hadn't been part of this, they wouldn't have received a section of Germany. The division of Germany after the war led to many conflicts between the US and Russia, and ultimately resulted in the Cold War. If America remained neutral to World War II and Russia's affairs in it, and never created the atomic bomb, the entire Cold War may have never happened. Well, that's good too, right?
Wrong, you simpletons!
The Cold War brought us into a new age of technological advancement. Our determination to beat the Russians to the moon and in technology in general led to new creations that influenced many of the things we have today. Without the Cold War, we may have never gone to the moon, we may have never invented smartphones, and most importantly, we may have never invented the internet. Pearl Harbor and the many battles and conflicts following it may have led to drastic loss of life, but without it, we may be living in a world without cat videos.
So, any questions?
Yeah, what's a smartphone?
This is no time for questions! We have to fix this! Marty! We have to go back! We did it! We killed thousands of people!